Hola muchachos! Today's lesson is going to be on two verbs. We have definitely seen these before. You learned them in level 1, but we're just going to recap this information and perhaps add a little bit more to it. So these verbs are sER and eSTAR. So remember, even though sER and eSTAR both correspond to the English verb to be, their uses are very different in Spanish. Now before I even go on, we have to understand the verb to be in English. It is very irregular. I am, you are, he or she is. We are, you all are, they are. So people sometimes forget that am, is, and are all come from the same verb to be, and they're all in the present tense. Okay, so let's look at the conjugations of sER. Soy, eres, es, somos, sois, and son. As usual, please copy down everything that is highlighted in yellow in the video into your packets. We have a little acronym that we use to remember the different usages of sER, and that is STOOD. S stands for sER, T is for time, O is for occupation, the other O is for origin, and D is for descriptions. Again, feel free to pause this video at any time if I'm going too fast and you need time to copy down what is on the screen. Please add the next line that sER is used generally for permanent conditions. For example, she is tall. Usually once a person is tall, they're going to stay tall. Some things may be arguable, such as she is beautiful. Well, maybe that doesn't stay true as she grows older, but let's just play along and say permanent descriptions are generally considered permanent conditions that are going to take sER. Other usages, okay, to express characteristics, descriptions, and identification, to express profession, occupation, nationality, to express date and time, and with day to express origin, possession, or material. Moving on, let's look at eSTAR. Our conjugations are estoy, estás, está, estamos, estáis, están. Oops, that's a little typo. Let me fix that for you. There we go. Okay. Our acronym is HELP. H is for health. E is for emotion. L is for location. Let's be specific here. Location of objects. Okay. When getting into location of events, that is going to be sER. Okay. P is what we call the present progressive. Now the present progressive is a tense that we're going to learn later on this year. Some of you may know it, but basically what it is a tense that's used to describe that you are in the midst of doing an action. Like right now I'm speaking because I'm making this video. So I would say estoy hablando. You can only use this when you're in the middle of the action. Okay? So if you were to say, as a junior, I am studying Spanish, you would not say estoy estudiando because you're not doing it at this moment. You're just saying in general, I'm taking a course. But we'll come back to that in a later chapter. Please add this line that eSTAR is used generally for temporary conditions. Okay. We use it to tell where the subject is or how the subject feels. To express location, again, of objects and feelings that may change from moment to moment. And the progressives with what we call the gerund. But like I said, we'll come to that another time. The last little thing that we need to really look at is the verb I. I means there is or there are, and we use this to state the existence of something. So if you wanted to say, there is a car in the parking lot, you would use I. If you wanted to say, the car in the parking lot is blue, it's a description, you would use S. Okay? If you wanted to say, the car is in the parking lot, you're talking about the location of the object of the car, so you would say está. Okay, go ahead, flip the page. We're going to get into some examples here. Letra A. Tell what the following people do to earn a living. This is occupation, so it takes sER. Alejandro es piloto. Paco y Linda son músicos. Yo soy enfermera. Okay, moving on to Sección B. We're doing possession of objects with sER. La mochila es de Gabriel. Las fotos son de Irma. El celular es de mi papá. Okay, moving on to Sección C. Now we're describing people. Felipe es guapo, so we use sER for descriptions. Antonio y Danito son inteligentes. Juan y yo somos responsables. Sección D. We're stating the location of these people. Los hermanos están en Puerto Rico. Rogelio está a la playa. Yo estoy en la escuela. You could also say estoy a la escuela if you want to say you're at school if you're in school. Okay, let's watch a short video to review this information.
There's something back there. It's been so long since we passed it, I forget what it is.
Hello, and welcome. This is the story of sER versus eSTAR, a tale of two infinitives. Once upon a time, there were two verbs that lived in the Spanish language, and they both meant to be. No one could tell them apart. Then, one day, even though they both meant to be, they decided to mean different things. eSTAR decided to mean to be something that tends to change, and sER decided to mean to be something that generally stays the same. And they both lived happily ever after. Thank you for joining us tonight. Good night.
We know that both sER and eSTAR mean to be. We have seen, however, that their uses are different. Before we get into that, let's review the verbs themselves.
To infinity and beyond.
Estar is an irregular verb because the yo form ends in oy instead of o. Let's see how it is conjugated.
Estoy. Estás. Está. Estamos. Estáis. Están.
Here's sed.
Soy. Eres. Es. Somos. Sois. Son.
Let's look at how to use estar. Estar, things that tend to change, like how a person or thing is or feels at the moment, or where a person or thing is.
La sala está desordenada.
Estoy cansado. Estamos ocupados. Los gatos están debajo del libro.
Sed, things that are unlikely to change or that describe permanent characteristics of people. Sed is used with nationality. Soy de Honduras. Permanent characteristics. Eres mi hermana. Possessive. La luz es mía. Profession. Somos profesores. Or what something is made of. Son de plástico.
Fill in the blanks with a proper form of ser or estar.
Mi hermana, muy cansada.
Mi hermana está muy cansada.
Este anillo, mío.
Este anillo es mío.
Yo, en mi casa.
Yo estoy en mi casa.